Hello, welcome back to my latest video. My name is Richard Lacey, Tamarindo Rich. I've been a Costa Rican resident for over 20 years now. Today's video we're going to cover how you can earn money in Costa Rica, which is one of the biggest questions, or most popular questions I get. So if you like the material we're covering today, please subscribe below and click on the bell icon so you get notified when we do our next video, and enjoy. So one of the most frequent questions I get from people visiting is how can they make money in Costa Rica? So alternatively, how can they accelerate their retirement plan? Most of the buyers I have here are in their 40s and 50s. They're on a good trajectory, they've got good jobs back home, they're buying a second home here in Costa Rica. Everybody's trying to accelerate that process. And it tends to be people tied to their home place. They have long commutes, they're living in expensive cities, the weather's not great, but they're there because that's where their work is and that's where they're generating good income. So how can they still meet their financial goals, but in Costa Rica? So I want to touch on a few different options. I want to tell you what doesn't work. Then I want to talk about this really exciting new concept of remote working, digital nomads, and a really interesting visa that the Costa Rican government is offering with no taxes. And then to talk about business ownership down here and a workaround where you can actually work down here. The Costa Rican laws on working in Costa Rica are that on a tourist visa, which is the one you normally get when you come in, they just get a 3-month tourist visa, you're not allowed to work. And on a temporary visa, so once you've gone through the visa application process, you're giving a temporary visa for 2 to 3 years. And then after that period of time, automatically it becomes a permanent resident. As a temporary resident, you're not allowed to work here. And as a permanent resident, as I am, you have unrestricted rights to work just the same as if you were a Costa Rican with a Costa Rican passport. Down below, there's a couple of links to good lawyers who have strong residency departments, and they can go through the process of which kind of residency is the best for you. If you do work when you shouldn't be, you can get deported and barred from the country for 10 years, and it's not a pretty process. It doesn't happen very often. You'll often find foreigners working in bars and restaurants here for cash, and it works for a while, but then every so often the immigration come in and they do a sweep through the town, put everybody in buses with bars, take them off to a lockup somewhere, and then ship them off out of the country. So that's not really an option. In fact, really working as an employee in Costa Rica doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, in the capital, in San Jose, you have Cisco Systems, eBay, Hewlett Packard. They've all got very, very large operations here. But guess why they have large operations here? Because they only pay their management 25 to 50% of what they would earn in North America. And it's a similar thing out here as a manager in a hotel. So it really doesn't make sense to come here with the idea of working as an employee. Also in San Jose, where all these large businesses are based, you're not really making a large improvement from home because you're still working in a big city with gnarly traffic problems, pollution, and you're still an hour and a half from the beach. So San Jose doesn't really make a lot of sense. At the beaches, all of the activities really tourism based. There are no big offices out here, no big employers. So really you're tied to looking at restaurants, hotels, tourism businesses. But the pay structure's the same. So it really doesn't make sense as a foreigner to be working for somebody else down here. Costa Rica is an ideal location for remote working, being a digital nomad. A very fast internet, as fast as you would ever need, which is reliable. Occasionally here at the beach you get sort of blips of power where it just goes out for 15 seconds, which will knock your Wi-Fi off. But if you've got one of those power boxes, I don't know, $100 in Walmart here, and then that solves all your problems. Pretty much on the same time zone as North America, which is very important. You have flights to all of the major hubs. Weather's perfect year round, an absolute zero commute. From where my office is to the beach is about 3 minutes walk. So, I'm finished work out of the office hopefully by 4, and straight to the beach for a cocktail. And so really you've got a lot more quality time down here. One of my good friends is here in town right now on this same process of looking to transition out as soon as he can. He's got a very large, high pressure, hands-on business in Los Angeles. And yesterday he was pretty much in the jungle up on a hill doing a conference call with people from around the world. And his only real concern was that they might hear the monkeys in the trees above him. So really you have all the ingredients here in Costa Rica to make remote working work. The resistance for the last few years has always been employers that like to have you here in the office with them. And now in a post-COVID world, there's a lot more tolerance with people working from home. So why shouldn't your home be here in Costa Rica? The Costa Rican government is recognizing that this is the way forward, that they can now be encouraging people with high-paid jobs in the country generating and spending their money here. That in December they approved a new law which is really going to change this whole concept, whereby a remote worker or a digital nomad, if you meet certain requirements, can get a one-year visa, which is extendable. The conditions are that your clients have to be outside of Costa Rica and you're working online, so that covers most people. In fact, I've got a good friend here who works for a New York bank from here on his New York salary, living down here, which is a really perfect scenario. I've included a link below to just some general information about the requirements for this remote working visa, and then the two law firms also that are down below, they can handle that for you. The most popular option for earning money in Costa Rica has always been to buy and run your own business. And I said at the start about on the tourist visa and the temporary resident visa that you're not allowed to work, but there is a workaround there's a lot of people use, whereby if you have your own corporation and you're the owner manager of that corporation, then you're allowed to manage your business and operate within your business. So you can be in your business offering your services and invoicing out, and you're covered with Social Security and you're paying your sales tax and your other taxes, so you're completely legal here. So that is a workaround that a lot of people use. So I have a lot of people here that have businesses, small businesses down here. So I had some successful restaurateurs that over the last 15 years, they either start a restaurant or they buy a small restaurant, build it up, sell it on, do the same again. And that's been very successful for them. A guy that in his late 40s achieved his dream. He bought a sport fishing business here, which was 3 old boats, all with captains that have been with the boats for many, many years, which was a really key to the success of the business, plus a database of all the past clients. And so he was just out the water fishing every day and just loved it. And that was around about $1 million, I think, that he bought in. And then another lovely young couple that I'm actually doing some other work with, they bought just a little boutique restaurant, just almost like a street food kind of business for very small money in. And they've moved down here and they're, I think, 32, 33, something like that. So depending on whatever your budget is, there's always an option. You could buy a spa business or a tour business, restaurants, hotels. We've got a lot of restaurants. For about $1 million, you could get a 10 or 15 room small hotel, walk to the beach, owner managed kind of operation. So there are a lot of options for earning money for not a lot down that can really generate money over time and really can be an interesting option. If you're looking for low entry costs, then instead of buying the bricks and mortar, there are also lease transfers here. So depending on where you are in the world, they call it key money or transfers or whatever. So you're not actually buying the property, you're buying a lease. For very little money, you can get into that with a restaurant, or we have a hostel for sale on that same sort of basis, where you can get a long lease, so you have some security there, but you're just paying a monthly rent and a key fee to get in, and that makes sense as well. And if you can build that up over time, sell that on, do the same again. So if you found today's talk interesting, then please like and subscribe below and tell your friends about us. Check out the other videos I've done in this series. Please leave me a comment, and as soon as I can, I'll get back to you, and I'm happy to chat and give anybody advice that